Welcome back to the Hill Update. I'm your host, Dean Allison, Member of Parliament of Niagara West. Joining me on the show today is Larry Brock, Member of Parliament for Brantford-Brant, and certainly one of the busiest members of Parliament when it comes to committee work right now. I want to show you our Opposition Day motion and our leader talking about the Opposition Day motion this week.
The opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he met the premiers in 2016. Since that time, he's broken the promise he made them. He said the tax would only go up to 11 cents a litre. Now, he admits it will go up to 61 cents a litre. He said the tax would make people better off. Now we have the Parliamentary Budget Officer's report, which confirms 60% of Canadians pay more than they get back. The Prime Minister said, and I quote in 2015, Canadians need a PM who will meet with the premiers. What happened?
Right. So, Larry, I'm guessing the premiers have been getting an earful from their constituents about the carbon tax, and they certainly would like to meet with the Prime Minister. My thought is we haven't really seen a whole lot. He just mentioned the clip. The last time he met with him was over 8 years ago. So, your thoughts on meeting with the premier? Should he grant that meeting? I mean, is that a concern of his?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a concern of his, but I think the will of Parliament, in light of the NDP supporting and the Bloc supporting our particular opposition motion, is abundantly clear that there is a will of all opposition to have this meeting take place. Whether it's televised or not remains to be seen. I'm sure that if this meeting does take place, there might be some negotiation between all parties as to the parameters around the meeting. But I don't think he's got the ability to deny the right of premiers and of all provinces and our territories to actually sit down and to work out their frustrations with this federal carbon pricing mechanism, which, as we well know, Dean, is very punitive in nature. He has taken steps to benefit one part of the country over the other. It is providing devastating impacts to families across this country, and it's only getting higher and higher. He has broken his promises, which has been a trademark of him literally since 2015. He promised Canadians this would be the most open, transparent, and accountable government this country has ever seen. He's been the complete opposite. So he owes it to Canadians. He owes it to the premiers. Be the prime minister that you said you would be. Sit down with these premiers and try to work out a plan that would be acceptable to them to give relief to Canadians from coast to coast.
Excellent. Carbon tax, as you mentioned, is contributing to the cost of living, affordability, housing costs, food, etc. We've just seen yesterday, this past week, that the NDP is now seeing maybe their error of their ways. They realize that maybe they must be taking some heat from their constituents because now they're saying they don't really support a carbon tax. Did I hear that correctly?
You absolutely did. He absolutely backtracked, notwithstanding 3 weeks ago. He voted blindly in favor of the Liberals' increase on April the 1st. So it's clear. We can read between the lines. We saw last week 3 senior members of the NDP party have abruptly decided not to run for re-election in the next general election. The party is bleeding support. And I'm sure at some point in time, they're saying to themselves, we have to stand for something. If we continue along this path, they're going to get annihilated in the next election. So this is this is, in my opinion, is Jagmeet Singh and his party trying to save face with their base, trying to show that they actually care about the affordability issues and the standard of living for Canadians, particularly in their ridings. It's about time, in my opinion, that they stood for their constituents and not blindly supported their puppet master, Mr. Trudeau.
We've got about 30 seconds left. Do you think this is going to work for them?
For the NDP?
Yes.
I think the damage has been done. Canadians are not going to be blind to what has happened over the last 2 years. They had ample opportunity to take a principled stand, to stand for their core values and beliefs, and to stand up against the rot and corruption in this government. It's one thing to support a government if you want to keep the government in power, which is supply and confidence agreement at the base is what it stands for, but it's quite another when you cover up corruption and rot. And that's what I see routinely in the committees that I'm working on.
Larry, thank you very much for joining me today. Keep up the great work.
Thank